Hello everyone, I'm Eszter Vajda and welcome to this segment of Hometown Talents and Treasures. Our goal is to introduce you to people who in their own unique way empower, inspire, inform, or educate others in the community. I'm so pleased to be joined by Catherine Tahajian and Susan Curry. These two have been friends for over 30 years, but in the past few years, Catherine has had some difficulties. Your mother passed away of Alzheimer's, and shortly after you developed breast cancer.
2 years later.
And Susan, in the past few years or year, has been sending Catherine a daily picture with some kind of a message. So I want to start off by first asking how you are
I'm
and
good.
where you are in your recovery. How long has it been?
So I stopped treatments 15 months ago, at the end of June 2012, and I'm 15 months out and growing my hair and trying to get into some kind of better shape now, and I'm good.
So take me back when you first heard. Where were you? What did you say to your family?
Oh, let's see if I can remember. So my doctor called me. I was in my home, and I was actually in the basement because I had painters in the house, and it was 2:15 when everything happens, and the kids are coming home from school, and the painters were wrapping up, and my doctor just called and said, "I'm sorry," and then I burst into tears because I knew what she was telling me, and that was when I received the diagnosis. My father immediately showed up because I think I called him. The painters left, the kids came home from school.
Did you tell them?
I didn't tell them that moment. I waited. They knew something was going on. We had a lot going on that day. There was some afternoon activities, and I really didn't want it in the middle of everything. And my husband was actually driving home from New York City from a meeting. So I wanted everyone together, and I ended up just spilling it to she was 15 at the time. I spilled it to her in the car because she knew something was going on. So I told her, and then we were picking up my younger daughter, and I just told her on the drive home because I had just told the 15-year-old. So
What was their reaction?
My 12-year-old asked me if I was going to die. My 15-year-old went silent, and I think she's more up in her head. My 12-year-old is more verbal, so she just sort of pours it out. And I was in shock and terrified, and I didn't have many answers for them. So that just was the beginning of quite a long road to be on.
And Susan, how did you first find out?
Yeah, I guess it was, typical Catherine fashion. I believe she spared us all for a while. And then she sent me an email, I think, saying she was going to drop a bomb on me. And then the bomb came, and I had a conversation with her shortly thereafter. Very matter of fact, as she always is, this is what's going to happen, very confident about the care she was getting. Family was in a good place with it, and I know that she has a lot of support, sisters and aunts and everyone rallying. So, she made everybody feel this is going to be okay about it. But then when you get off the phone with her, I have two kids the same age. Your mind starts going like this, the sadness and kind of, preparing yourself for what she's about to take on and how her life is going to change the next year, and almost a little guilt you feel, to be honest with you, that this didn't happen to you, and you're not going to lose your hair most likely over the next year, and you carry on with your strength, rather your typical physical fitness, and this other person is not going to be able to do that. So I think it felt like, what can I do? We're all human, and I think that's the first reaction you have, like what can I do for them?
Catherine, one of your daughters asked you if you were going to die. And I'm sure you had a bunch of people saying, what can I do, what can I do? What was your reaction? How did that make you feel? And I know just from hearing from Susan that you're a tough person, and you said that cancer's not for sissies. You're a tough person. So what was your reaction?
So I think in the beginning, when you're first diagnosed and there are so many decisions, and how can I get through this? How can I come out on the other side and be okay? And how, for me, it was important that my children were okay. So I guess I think that you have to listen to your doctors. You have to find the best care you can find. You have to put your faith in them and know that they're gonna help you and they're gonna do what's best for you. And what's really difficult is that everything that, for me, I thought I would do, I didn't do. I thought if I was ever diagnosed, I would have a double mastectomy. I didn't. I thought I would never walk around without a wig. I thought about it. My sister forced me to get a wig because she didn't want my kids to see me without any hair. My younger daughter had difficulty with me if she caught me in a moment where I didn't have a wig on. She's visual. It was hard for her. So I was thankful that I went with the wig, even though they're really not that fabulous and uncomfortable and make you hot. But I think, as a mother, I'm sure every mother just wants their children to be okay. And, so I think you have to, get to that point, which takes a while, to know you're going to be okay.
How did you react
It's doable. Physically,
Yeah.
not great. I mean, I the first chemo infusion day, I sat in the chair. They hooked me up, and my veins blew. I've never had a vein blow in my life. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just for old people. My veins blew. I was given steroids that just made me go absolutely crazy, very hyper, and then you just feel like you've been run over by a truck. It's you feel like you're living on chemicals, and it's a pretty strange sensation. You don't feel sick. You just feel like like you've been hit by a truck, and weak. And with each cycle, you become weaker and weaker, and it affects you more.
Did you ever think you were going to die?
I don't know if I didn't.
We take for granted that we have this great care right here, and I mean, I just remember from the get-go they were so positive with you about the statistics, the type of cancer you had, the fact that they caught it early. I in many ways felt like, all right, this is going to be a blip, and she's going to,
I don't think I thought I was going to die. I don't think I thought I had something that would kill me. Immediately. I don't, we're sort of trained as women, early detection is the key, right? So I think when I was first diagnosed, I think that's what got me through the first few days. Early detection is the key. And I had that going, just replaying over and over and over in my head. So I don't think that I ever thought, okay, I'm going to die. But I thought, what if it comes back? What if it comes back stronger? What if it's...
And your mother and father have a history?
My father had stage 4 lymphoma. He was, he's 5 years out. He's fine. So I saw that. My mother died of Alzheimer's, had breast cancer 11 years before she died. She had an aggressive type. She had chemo. She didn't die from breast cancer. So I think you just draw on your own experience and know. And I know women die of breast cancer, but I think that a lot of people die of cancer, but often people don't go to the doctor, and they have a sense that something's wrong, and they're too embarrassed to ask about it. So I think really what everyone needs to do is just be mindful of what's going on in their bodies and go get help. Always ask for help. It's not, no, if you don't ask, you'll never know.
Susan, your daily
Mm-hmm.
inhales, which you keep doing. You keep
They
doing.
live on. They
They
live
live on.
on,
Every day
yes.
there's a new message, a new photograph. Very empowering. How did you come about this?
Oh gosh, it's just a very organic process. You know, I teach yoga and I'm a photographer, so I've been photographing people for some 15 years
Longer.
now, I guess, or so, mainly children. So this huge stock collection of very spirited images, and from my yoga teaching, I collect a lot of insights, poetry, song lyrics, you name it, to share with my students at the end of class when we're resting. So it just kind of came together. What if I matched one of these images with one of these quotes? And maybe that's my little pulse that I send to Catherine every day in her inbox. You know, simple enough for me to do. It was really not anything she had to find room in her refrigerator for or take care of. So
It was
she
your
could even
little-
trash it if she didn't want to read it. So that's how it came about. Started that.
So where do you get the quotes?
Oh, you name it. I mean, I can be reading the New York Times. I can be walking down the street and see some interesting things somebody's written on a wall. Song lyrics are great. My son does a
Magazines.
lot of magazines, friends. My son does a lot of musical theater, and it's amazing, those lyrics from that era, Cole Porter, Gershwin. There's some great stuff to be culled from that. So they're really just meant now at this point that Catherine's got her health back as a little, reminder maybe for people every day. Not a big long story that you have to get involved in, but maybe just something that pops up on your screen that reminds you to maybe take 2 minutes even just to breathe and put things back in order, remember what's important, and move on, and maybe eventually start a meditation practice or something out of that. But for now, it's just a little breath of fresh air.
I know for me personally, seeing them every day, they put a smile on my face.
Oh, that's good.
And make you think of things, like you said, that you wouldn't otherwise think of. I want to know, Catherine, from your standpoint, did it help you take your mind off of things?
Yes. I think as you're lying on the sofa with a laptop and the television going and just waiting for the minutes and hours to pass, it was something fun and light and refreshing outside of the hospitals and the medical appointments and the medicines and everything. And it was a happy little face, an interesting quote, fun, interesting, and
You can't go wrong with the pictures of the kids.
No, the little smiles. So, yeah, I looked forward to them. It was fun, and wondering when she was gonna, get around to sending it through in the day, whether it was in the morning or maybe she had a busy day.
So
they'd
you
come at
would
5
wait
o'clock
for
at night.
them.
Oh yeah, I would look
gosh.
for them. When are they coming? It was like a little, then that's a little game. So, and just to know that somebody's thinking of you and sending something is heartwarming. So. I loved it.
Well, when you look at these, what do you think?
Happiness. Carefree.
Any of them memorable more than others?
Well, maybe my nephew.
Oh, right. I tried to add a little personal
Yeah.
touch to some of these.
Yeah.
Right. Best spiritual practice is to drop the word spiritual, and that was
Yeah.
a picture of Catherine's sister with her beautiful nephew,
nephew.
James, who
Way back
was
when.
maybe about a year at the time.
Which one's your favorite, Susan?
Oh gosh, something like this is simple and strikes me. Life can also be lived on a weekday. Just a kid, doing a headstand in a pool. It's okay to be like this on a Tuesday morning. My advice to you is not to inquire why or whither, but just enjoy your ice cream while it's on your plate. They're not
Fantastic.
preachy, but they're just like little reminders. Thornton Wilder, that was. This is a picture of a woman walking with her toddler son, and the quote is, "I need your grace to remind me to find my own," a lyric from a very popular song. Which Chasing Cars, I think it is.
Yeah.
And anyway, I just heard it and I was like, that sums it all up. That little child, slows you down, makes you remember, and vice versa. We all need each other.
Is this Max?
This is Max, yeah, and this is just kind of a great little musing on mourning, simple, no big lesson to be learned here, but accompanied with a picture of a child with messy hair waking up. I think this one is going to post tomorrow, and it's Abraham Joshua Heschel, a rabbi who is just, I encourage everyone to check out his insights. And this says, prayer is our humble answer to the inconceivable surprise of living. And that a little bit, I think, speaks to maybe what we've been talking about here in Catherine's faith. And, what do? Prayer is starts with a cry for help. I think there's somebody who said that.
Breast cancer is very personal, it's a personal area for a woman, and a difficult one. Talk a little bit about that, as a woman, your body, your hair, your breast.
Yeah. Well, I think most women that have children have, it's a whole different world to have people looking at you. And breasts, as my sister-in-law says, at least, they're not on, it's not, nobody's dealing with your inside. It's an outside appendage, if you will. So, in her head, that it almost seems like it wasn't an organ or something a little more, I guess, intense. But you do sort of just, what's the word, Susan? Surrender.
Yield, yeah.
Yeah, you just surrender. And I've never had so many, in that first team meeting, I never had so many people looking at me and touching me. And
That must have been a little
I don't really do
uncomfortable.
male doctors, but I have lots of male doctors now. And because that's what I needed to do, and I'll do whatever I need to do to get through it. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to let that hold me back for the best care. So, yeah, it can, doesn't always feel great, but you do what you have to do. And the hair, it's not fun to lose it. It's, and I guess I never felt traumatized by losing my hair. I just felt that I wasn't all me. So it didn't scare me when it started to fall out. I knew it was going to happen. Look, the hair's going to fall out. We're going to shave it. We're going to get the wig. Okay, boom, boom, boom. I'm fine with that. Really. But in fact, my niece, we still laugh about this. There was a bagger at Whole Foods one day, and she commented how much she loved my hair. So the big joke in the family was that I would say to her, "Really, you love it? You can have it," and take it off my head and hand it to her. And my niece drew me a little cartoon of that, and my daughter and I were just at Whole Foods, and it was the bagger. It was the same girl who said, "I love your hair." I said, "Tell her, that's the one."
Susan, what did you learn from Catherine during this
Oh
period?
gosh, just another display of the human spirit, her strength, and I was very aware of what she had been through in the previous 10 or so years. So for me, it was just witnessing someone's courage, someone's strength, and making everyone feel good while this was happening, worrying about others in many ways.
Did you guys speak every day, or?
No, maybe once a week, I feel
Yeah,
like.
yeah, and
I
a
mean,
lot of
she was
emails, and I couldn't always talk.
tired a
After
lot.
chemo, I really didn't have any kind of,
Yeah.
my family would, that's, I think, what sent them over the edge is right after chemo, I really couldn't speak. I didn't have the strength. So that's when they all really got nervous. And you learn the cycles. You learn 5 days out, okay, I can take a walk. Maybe it was day 8. I was able to get up and take a walk around the block. So, I feel like we were in pretty close touch. Not always
And
by
a
the phone.
strong marriage throughout, that help and support of a partner. I saw her husband kind of rallying in, ways that were very admirable, really. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And you know, I think the bottom line is just not to take anything for granted. Is the, you know, the moral of what I witnessed is every day is really a gift, and it can turn on a dime. You know, no matter how healthy you are.
You know, we have a friend who was diagnosed in the winter with cancer, and really, I never understood that sort of something could bring out the old feelings, but it did. Because the minute I was told, I had to get off the phone, and rudely, I said I have to go. I hung up the phone and burst into tears, because it brought back that fear when I was first diagnosed.
And how far you've come.
Yeah. Baby steps, you know? It's baby steps, really.
What's your message to women out there?
My message to women, I think, is go to your appointments. So many women, and so many women forego the whatever appointment they have. You know, they don't get their mammogram, or they have an annual physical they haven't been to in 3 years. So I really think it's important to just get to the doctor for your annual appointments, get your mammograms, and if something comes up, you know, somewhere in between, I think you need to reach out and ask for help. And I think women need to be honest with doctors. I think often people know something's going on and they don't speak up. And I think that if anything bad happens, which is everybody's fear, I think you need to ask for help. One, get to the best doctor that you can get to. Two, ask for help.
Susan, what about you?
In terms of a message,
Your final thoughts.
my final thoughts. Oh gosh. You know, I guess just to keep it in perspective, the things that really matter in life. You know, and try to be present for your friends. You know, make more of an effort to, you know, to look into the other person's eyes and kind of see who's
And put
who's
yourself in
looking
their
back.
shoes.
Walk in their shoes, yeah. So that would be it. You know, we live in a crazy world right now where everyone's just flying around and not paying attention to each other and not looking at each other. And I just would hope that everyone would maybe learn to just slow down, throttle back a little bit. That's all.
Susan, I want to thank you for your daily in-house,
Oh,
because
sure.
they've been great for me, and
Sure.
Catherine, thank you, and what incredible courage
Thank you.
Right.
to be able to
Right.
speak out heartfeltly about something that is very difficult.
Yeah.
And hopefully a lot of women will be able to use some of this information. So thank you both.
Thank you, Esther.
Thank you.
A pleasure.
That's our show for today. Thank you so much for watching. And if there's someone or an organization you'd like to see featured on Hometown Talents and Treasures, email me at esternvajda@gmail.com. Remember, it can be anyone as long as they selflessly donate their talent and time to help others. Make sure you go to Facebook and like us, Hometown Talents and Treasures, and we'll see you next time.